Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for coming today. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to tell you guys from the get-go, I do not feel good. I think I have food poisoning. So if I disappear more than normal, you know why. Ooh, who's echoing?
That was me. Sorry.
Bad Troy. So
I thought
if I
it was
disappear,
fixed.
you know why. The guys all know. If I feel absolutely horrible, I do have someone that can come take my place. So we will be okay. But I just want to give you a heads up. So Julian is back from the 127 sale. So we are happy to have him back. And I am joined by Troy, MountainManTreasure, below me, as well as Mike, Golden State Picker. Both of these guys have been on before. Everybody has YouTube channels. Richard will be sharing the links throughout the stream. So if you're not subscribed to these guys, check them out. I'm going to make them big, let them introduce themselves real quick, and then we will go ahead and get the questions. I see we have quite a few, and I did pin a comment this time, guys. Get your questions in early. We have not been making it past 9 o'clock the past few weeks because we get 500 to 600 in chat, and it's really hard to get to all the questions. So if you have a question, please try to get it in early. Please try to get in early. So here is Mr. Troy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Troy at MountainManTreasure. I'm I don't even know how many months now. We're, 4-5 months into full-time. I was a part-time reseller, part-time YouTuber. Now that's the full-time gig. So we put out videos 4 or 5 times a week and going to garage sales and estate sales and thrift stores. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it, and the store is growing, the channel's growing, and I'm just glad to be here. Glad to be invited back.
Yes, happy you're here. Here is Mike.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Mike, Golden State Picker out of San Jose, California. I have been doing it full-time for 2 years. I've been only reselling for 3. Do a lot of FBA books on Amazon and a ton on eBay, selling on eBay. So I'm glad to be here again, too. I've been here many times. It's a lot of fun. I'm not in my garage, too. I'm in North Carolina. Sorry. I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah, he's right next to Julian tonight. He's with his grandkids. So we appreciate him coming on while he's on the road, for sure. Yeah. So Mr. Richard, speaking of the person who shares links for me so graciously, Richard wants to know, is everyone on the panel full-time? And if so, what steps did you go to prepare, or did you do to prepare to go to full-time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm full-time now. I was in newspaper for a very long time, and in radio most recently for quite a while. And, I think in order to go full-time, one thing you ought to do is try and live off of, if you're selling part-time on eBay, Mercari, whatever it is, try and live off of that for, 3 months. Whatever you're getting from your actual job, put it off to the side and see how far you get. I mean, you got to run the numbers. We ran the numbers and basically, look, my wife's working, so I'm not the only one bringing income in. So that changes things. It's not only reselling, but we sat and looked at the numbers and went, okay, if we want to stay in our house, if we want to keep the lights on and we want to drive our cars, can what you bring home, will that pay for it? So basically all of our bills, her job pays for. Now, if we want to, eat, I need to make some money. But, I figure I can make enough for us to eat and get a tank of gas now and then. So that took some of the pressure off, knowing that, all the bills are paid for. I just have to make up everything else. And so I think you really have to be smart. You got to run the numbers and maybe give it a shot, sort of part-time, full-time for a few months, just to make sure before you jump in.
Yeah, the same thing. Now I'm a little different. I had a 30-year business and retired. I was basically retired and stumbled into this. I was doing Uber just to have some fun and make some money and keep myself busy, and then stumbled into it and was doing both as a combination. Same thing. So I was working basically and stumbled into this. And just like Mountain Man, my wife was working. She retired 2 weeks ago. So she's finally done. So we are on a journey now of the next 5 years of figuring out how just to basically enhance our retirement. Just like Mountain Man said, I think the key here is to figure out if you can do it by living off of that and seeing what happens, living off of the money while you work still, or something along those lines, and figuring out if it works. You're going to know. You will know. But it's a lot of fun, and you will make it work. I mean, I think that's one thing that people need to do, is just realize that once you do it, it's a serious part of your life. You have to make the effort. It's just not going to flow. You got to work it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Kayla actually quit her job, so now we're both doing this full time. So really, she was working, and that was paying, you know, part of the bills and everything. But the biggest thing is running the numbers and making sure what you're making can cover the minimum amount of your, like, how you survive. But you also have to put a lot back into what you're doing, because then you have to have more buying power. So always kind of like think about that too, and also have some sort of cushion. Like when I quit my job, it was kind of like, hey, I quit and then I got into this. But you're going to have, in my opinion, some sort of like 6 months there where if things go really bad, that you have at least your mortgage, your car, if you have a note on your car, you know, you're paying for your car or whatnot, and like food, you know, like the essentials, shelter, water, and transportation.
I'm going to go against everybody, and this answer is not what I would have answered had you asked me a year ago. And that is, if you're miserable at your job, do it. But you have to, I want to like say kind of an addendum to that, is that you have to be very, very motivated. So me, like right now, no matter how crappy the economy is, I will find a way to make the money. So you really, like, if you're determined and hard-headed like I am, you will make it happen. You will put food on the table. You will pay your mortgage. You will pay your bills. And some people are like that. And I've listened to a lot of motivational speakers, and that's a lot of what makes me say that. They're like, you know, if you wait for the right time, it's never going to come. There's never going to be a right time that is a perfect situation to do it. Be smart about it. But if you're miserable and don't want to go to work and you know you can do it, I think you can, but you really need to believe that. And it takes a very, very strong-willed person, which is not everybody, to do that. So like me, I sell on multiple platforms. I would go sell at the flea market. Like if I couldn't pay my mortgage this month, you'd see me up at the flea market. I would go wherever the heck I needed to go to make money. And I think you have to have that mentality going into it full time. And when I went into my video about quitting, I cried because I told Joey Bada Bing not to do it because he had a good post office job. And I felt like crap. And I'm like, why did I tell Joey not to do it? And he's doing great. He's still doing it. So I think really know yourself, though. Know if you're motivated, know if you have the drive, and know if you will make it happen no matter what, whether that means, like I said, go on different platforms, go on the flea market. If you have to drive Uber, whatever, you know, it takes to make the money. Like me now, I would figure a way, DoorDash, whatever, until your reselling business got going. That's just, you know, you could do other side hustles. If you're miserable at your job, I think you should leave. That's kind of the bottom line for me at this point. Life's too short to be miserable. Like I was waking up at 4 a.m, like I can still call out. I have an hour. Like I didn't want to go to work. And if you feel like that, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. So yeah. Okay. I see a super chat and a member. Julian got it before I did. Michelle is over in Australia. I've had quite a few Australian viewers lately. So Michelle sent $5 Australian and said, thank you, Kat, for teaching us about photo room. She joined the other day and it saved her so much time. You're an amazing teacher, and hello from Australia. Hello back. We are happy you are watching us from Australia. Here, I will work on these super chats. I will work on them, I promise. But for now, here's the dolphin. Super chat. Mama G has been watching the channel for a long time. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was watching Buffalo Pickers live on Friday, and I love his super chat. He has like buffaloes running. I'm like, man, I got to step up my game. I'm like, yeah. So Tommy really made me want to step up my game. Mama G, thank you so much. Here is your doll. Welcome to the flipping family. All right. Thrifting Librarian has a question. She said, what is your process for dealing with things that haven't sold and have been posted for a long time? Do you drop the price, send it to auction, purge it? She says she has things that have been posted for years.
Me too. I mean, I sold something yesterday that I think I listed like 4 years ago. You know, I'm not, you know, I know a lot of people go, well, if it's been listed for a year, I run sales until I've got 1,700 items now. I don't mess with going back and looking at where stuff, how long it's been listed. It's already sorted. It's sitting in a bin over here. It's listed. At some point, it's going to find a buyer. And, you know, I at least once a week for the last few weeks, I'm selling stuff that by looking at the picture, I know this is 3 or 4 years old. Eventually, it's going to find a buyer. So, you know, maybe it's just because I'm lazy and I don't want, but I don't feel like I have the time or frankly, the desire to go into the old listings and mess with them. I just list it and let it sit.
I do a garage sale once a year. So I will purge out, I'll walk through my garage. It helps me straighten it up. You've seen some of my videos if you've watched YouTube of how bad it can get. And I'm in a 2-car garage only. And so I will thin it that way. And I will also take some of the older stuff that I feel occasionally I'll go through and run it on sale, real deep discount, something along that line to try and move some things. But like Troy said, occasionally you'll get something to go, wow, okay, where's that at? You know, I mean, it's been sitting there for a year and a half. The biggest worry is you can find it. I don't have a bin system, so I have to physically remember. And hopefully it's there. So, yeah. So that's what I do. My main thing is once a year, I do a little cleaning.
We have just actually, the last time I was on, I forget who was talking about doing the, how long it's been, like discounting it in tiers. And that's what I've been doing. So after a certain amount of time, now it's like 50% off. And that's actually worked. We sold a good bit 2 weeks ago.
You're doing the tiered sale?
Yeah, the tiered sale. Yep. And I had to figure out how to do it because I've never done it before. I don't remember who actually said that. It might have been ATL Flippers. It might have been.
I can't. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember.
It's
I do the offers. I do the tiered offers. Maybe I should do deeper because I'm only stopping at 20%. So I might need to go up a little bit more on that. I don't really pull. I'm kind of in the boat with Troy where if I already listed it, the work's already done, then, you know, I just let it sit there. If I have the room, I will say, like, if I were running out of room in my storage areas, I might think about looking at stuff that's been posted like over 2 years. I don't think at a year I would really worry, but at 2 years, I think I would. I today sold a pot lid, a Cuisinart lid, was a clear lid. I took on a dirty brown blanket, not dirty, but it made it look dirty. It was a brown blanket. I had a clear glass over brown blanket with the background removed. Like, I'm like, how did somebody even buy this thing? Like, I listed it like 3 years ago. It looked horrible. And like Mike said, it wasn't marked because I listed it so long ago. Luckily, it was like on a top shelf. I'm like, I know I've seen this thing when I'm pulling stuff. Like, where is it? And I found it and it went out, but I can tell by the quality of my photos because they have like improved over the years. And I'm like, man, and some of them I'm astonished they even sell, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I wouldn't think about it unless I was running out of room, but I do send discounted offers and I'm thinking about doing the tiered sale like Julian's saying to try and move some stuff, maybe even at that 50% off. I will occasionally look at the higher dollar stuff that's been listed a long time and the stuff with a lot of watchers and kind of recomp it and maybe lower it, especially if it's like $300, $400, $500 item and I've got 20 watchers on it, you know, where, hey, if I discount this down, can I move it? So I do look at the higher dollar stuff as far as that. Allison wants to know if any of us have ever received the adjustment from USPS for overpayment on postage. She got a 67-cent credit because her package was so close to 15, she rounded up to 16.
I think I've gotten it a time or two. I mean, usually it's that underpayment thing, but I've gotten refunded a couple of times, which is usually weird because I don't know how. I mean, I weigh everything, so I'm not going to overcharge myself, but if their scale says I paid too much, I'll take the refund, I guess.
I've never received any refund from them. They just take my money. I've never gotten it. But I can also say I do check, because I've had some people ask me if they charge me more because I've missed something. So I do tend to check, and I have not seen that either. So I have not been hit because I'm off the other direction either. So I look at that occasionally to make sure, but I have not gotten a refund.
I have a couple times, and it's going to be on lower ones. It's going to be like a 4 to 8 ounce difference type of deal, because I've already typed in 8 and I just either didn't weigh or didn't change it when I looked at it. And I've gotten maybe 1 or 2 a month actually. And it's usually like 50 cents or 40 cents or whatever. But I've been charged too. In the beginning, I was charged pretty good a couple times.
Yeah, and I've gotten refunds, but it's rare. And I think if you're weighing stuff appropriately, I think most time mine is like Julian's, where Brad doesn't change it. I put it to 8 ounces, so I get like a 50-cent padding to cover my poly mailer, and Brad's like, whatever, it's under 8 ounces. But I will tell you, if you're getting a lot of charges, because I had a defective scale. I was getting like 10, 15, 20 a week that my postage was wrong. And I got a new scale and that stopped. So just be aware of that.
I also got a new scale. That was key. I went to a much heavier duty scale. I think that's important. Some of these cheaper scales, they break. So it's almost, you got to have 2, but they come so fast. But I got a real heavy duty scale, goes up to 200 pounds now. For me, that's been a real blessing.
You got the super chat, Julian?
I do.
Miss Chris.
Boom.
Chris said, hello, Kat, Coach Kat, and panelists. She said she's hopping on tonight, hoping Mike wants to talk about teacups, because Mike always likes to talk about teacups. And she said next week is FlipCon, so she's excited she can be with her people. Yeah, I'm excited too. I fly out next Wednesday to Charlotte, so that will be a fun time. So Miss Chris, thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. All right. This is Miss CC. She said, hello, Kat and all. What do you do on eBay when a buyer selects a priority box, but the item doesn't fit in it? So I'm not sure, CC, because the buyer can't pick like what box you would ship in. They would pick whatever setting you offered to them, but you always have the option. It'll hit compare all services, a button that says compare all services, and you can change the type of shipping. You just might have to pay, like if you put medium flat rate by accident and you need to put it in a number 7 and pay by the weight, you would be the one required to pay that difference. I'm going to answer this question and then I'm going to disappear for a few minutes after I read the next question. Sandy said she wants to know, how was Dalton yesterday when I picked him up from school, and how did he do this morning? So Dalton yesterday fussed a few times throughout the day. He's been having a rough time. I gave him a rock. And I don't think I have any of my raku. I have raku stones that have like an angel and a little heart. And I put some in his backpack and told him if he missed me that he could look at his stones. And I told him it's a secret. So he's like, I didn't let anybody see him. And today he cried when we pulled up, but he had promised his teacher he wouldn't. So when he saw her, he like wiped his eyes really fast because he really, really likes his teacher. And then we picked him up today and there was no crying. So no crying at all today. He was super proud. We took him to get a Happy Meal. That's how we bribed him. We took him to get a Happy Meal after school and it worked. All right. Mr. Jeremy wants to know, would you rather A, clean something gross for a great profit, or B, clean something and curated for a small profit? I'm running for a few minutes, but I think everybody should also say what they think I would say. I will be back.
I did see there was a second half to that other question, though, asking about how we decide free or, I guess, calculated shipping. So I guess I'll go 2 parts. I'll answer that of you know, I look at what the market's doing. If everybody else is offering $9.98 free shipping, I just do the same thing just to fit in with whatever all the solds are doing. Sometimes it's just a gut feeling, but mostly I charge. I mostly charge calculated shipping. You know, I just do. In terms of this one, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends on the item, which maybe is a cop out, but you know, if it's going to take me a long time to clean and test, and there's a chance that it's going to come back, and there's a lot of stuff I factor in, you know, like electronics, you can make great money on that once you clean it and sell it, but the fraud rate on that is really high. I mean, you get a lot of scammers on that stuff. I don't like testing it, so I don't fiddle with it. So sometimes if it's not going to take me a lot of time, I can make the same amount of money listing 10 smaller profit things as one big thing that I spent all that time on that I didn't really like. So I would probably lean towards B, I suppose, just because then I can list more things.
On the shipping thing, I charge on almost 98% of my shipping. I will do exactly like Troy said. If there's some on the smaller items, if it's $9.99 free shipping or $15.99, I'll probably stick there because it's a little bit easier. But most of the time I'm charging. I don't do calculated. I'm in California, so I always figure the farthest distance and I just work with it. And I'm hoping that some people understand that, hey, they might offer $10 lower, knowing my shipping's a little higher, those kind of things, and work with that on the shipping side. Now, as for the bigger items, I will take a bigger item and clean it. Okay. I just did it with an espresso machine that I got and sold it for $600. Now, an espresso machine's obviously used, so you got to clean it. I know how to do that. Electronics, the same way. I tend to have a very easy system set up to test them quickly. You can't test every button, but generally you can get something on it. One feature that I do like to use that helps with those is the video feature. The video feature now with eBay is gold when it comes to stuff like electronics. The espresso machine I showed it with the video, and it sold within 4 days. So I will take the big item.
First, the shipping thing. I would say 99% is going to be calculated, other than the we got two cats there.
Got two. Double. I'm seeing
cats.
double.
I'm glad it was you, and like it just wasn't me. And also except for golf clubs, I have because I sell so many of them, I have them down pretty good, and I do flat rate shipping, and I've moved it actually up to $13 because UPS has gone up just slightly, and I was getting burned a couple times, and I need to exclude Hawaii and Alaska out of those too, because you can do that also, because that will eat you, because I just did it the other day and I was like, whoa, $29 to ship a golf club. So, you know, just sometimes that happens. Just if you do flat rate, just know if you ship it to those two will be extremely high, and Puerto Rico. But other than that, it's all calculated. And I very rarely do free shipping unless it's super light. And for this question, I'm going to go with Troy and say it all depends on the item. Like a $600 espresso maker, I'm going to probably clean that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to really weigh like if it gets returned or not, because if it does work, it's most likely it's not going to get returned. But if it's like something worth like $100, $200, I'm most likely not going to worry about, because the word gross is in there, and that seems like a lot of cleaning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the lower profit clean item and hopefully have like 20 of them. So and then go from there.
And cat'll sell anything. So
yeah,
I mean,
she's not cleaning nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm reading all the comments. Everybody's saying cat doesn't clean.
So that's gonna be B.
It's gonna be B, yeah. This one actually, because you just said you got a new scale. Does anybody have a recommendation on the actual scale?
I have it on my YouTube channel, but I don't know what it is. It's off of Amazon.
Mine is the $25 Amazon scale. I can't remember the brand, but it's fairly common. It works great.
Yeah, mine's a $35 one, and it was off of Amazon. It's a link in one of my videos. You can find it there, but that's where it's at.
It's probably the Accutech, I bet.
Yeah, it's an Accutech. Yeah, it is an Accutech. It's the 200-pound Accutech.
The big bases work too. Ones with bigger bases.
Yeah, it's a metal base. It's not the plastic top. It's a metal top.
That is a fancy one. The metal top.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It was only $35. It's I was stunned how well it is.
So what did you guys say I would do? Did you say I
You're
would
not-
what I would clean something?
No
I would
way.
say you wouldn't clean.
They're right. No, they're right. I wouldn't clean it. I saw somebody say have your employees clean it, but I don't. You know what's so funny is they've learned from me, so they don't really clean stuff either. You know, but I typically don't buy stuff I need to clean. It would probably take, like, if it was really gross, it would take over $500 for me to be willing to clean it.
Yeah.
And then I probably would still pay somebody. My daughter's very money motivated. She will do a lot of different work. Like, especially like today, I don't feel good. She brought me a drink and she'll run and get whatever I need from the store. And I just add a little paycheck for running errands for me. Miss Thrifting's My Hobby Sue sent a $3 super chat. Thank you so much. Here's your dolphin.
Super chat.
All right. Let me see. Well, we're almost at 8 o'clock, so that's good progress. Laura in North Carolina said, when you have a lot of similar items to sell, is it more profitable to sell as a lot or individually?
I mean, it's sort of dependent on what that item is and what the sell-through is, but just in a vacuum, you know, generally, I think you're very often going to make more ultimately if you sell them one by one, but you might sell them more quickly and just get them out if you sell it as a lot. So it's just a matter of, you know, it's that quick nickel. What is it? Quick nickel, slow dime. So it depends on which way you want to go with it, or vice versa. I don't know. I don't know dimes and nickels, but list them individually if you want to make more ultimately, but it's going to take longer to make that money.
I think I would pull the ones that would sell for more money and then lot the ones behind, if that's what we're talking about here. I have some Martha Stewart stamps that I got at like 150 of them. And I pulled the ones that would sell $30, $40 a piece and then lotted the other ones in like lots of 10. And those have sold for like, you know, $120. So yeah, so it depends, you know. I would definitely, you know, it's like comic books, right? You go through the comic books, you want to find the ones that sell well, but there's hundreds and hundreds of them that are similar, right? So you've got to make sure you kind of go through them. It's a kind of a catch-22 sometimes. You got to be very careful with what you're doing because you'll let something slip through and it could have cost you $50, $60, $70.
Yeah, if they're similar, I would do the same thing. I would research every single one. It doesn't matter how similar they are. I'm going to research everyone, and then I'll pull the ones that are more expensive, anything over like $30, $40 or whatever. And then the rest I'm going to lot up. If none of them are over that certain amount of money, then I'll probably, what Troy said, you're probably going to make more money if you sell them separately, even if they are low value. But I do this a lot when it comes to sockets, even name brand sockets. I lot them all up. And I'll do them all in like this big lot on an auction. I still make money, and it's just easier that way. I'm still making my money that I want, and the person that's buying it's getting a really good deal. So, but yeah, I would.
Yeah. So for me, I typically, like with my Harley pins, I just had my daughter list individually because I don't have my listers research them. So for that fact, I don't want to miss one of them. I do research every single one individually. Same with the license plates. However, I and my crazy self, and Brad is going to not like me very much tomorrow. I brought 100 Longaberger baskets and over 400 Longaberger accessories. So a lot of the smaller accessories like handle covers and little garters that go around the baskets, they only sell for $4 to $5. So for me to pay somebody $2 to list it after fees, I would make nothing. So what I'm going to do with those is either myself or tell them to lot up like 3 similar. So if there's 3 fall basket handle covers, make a lot of 3 or 4. I might even do 5 so that it gets to at least the $15 to $20 mark. Because if I'm paying them $2, you know, I really need to make at least $15. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I started researching. There are some higher dollar, like some of their napkins and their balances are 30, 40, 50. And I only paid $1 to $2 a piece for the accessories. So it's gonna be a lot of hoping I have those really high dollar Longaberger accessories, the rare ones. And I'll notice, and I'll probably still look them up even if they lot them together just to make sure there's not that one. And if there is, I would then tell them to pull that out, or I would put that pattern in the title to make sure, like if it's popular, somebody will buy the whole lot just to get that one if it's a rare one. So that might be what I do as far as handling that. Whereas if I were listing myself, I might just go ahead and do them each individually because I'm not paying someone and they take like 30 seconds each, you know, they're little pieces of fabric. But with paying someone, I'm not going to be able to take that route. So to sum it up, I agree with what everybody says. You 9 times out of 10 are going to make more individually, but it's going to take, just like Troy said, it's going to take a lot longer if you're doing it individually. That's the big thing. But most times you'll get your profit back pretty fast. Beachwalker 22. I love this kayak picture. We see it every week. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I bought a PS3 for $60 with 4 controllers. It connects to the TV beautiful. Pictures and controllers work to scroll the screen, but I can't figure out how to play the game. Is it okay to sell it as working? So do any of us know about PS3? I don't.
No, I don't.
I mean,
yeah.
Are you in the game and it's just you don't know how to move around? I mean, if you're doing things on the game, it seems like it works. I mean, if you're really concerned, you could buy a dirt cheap game, you know, and try a different game.
Yeah, I mean, we need a little bit more here, I think. It is the game playing, you just don't know how to play it exactly. Something else, again, you can do is video. You can videotape yourself with this game, a whole setup, and try and show it working or not working. That's a tough one. You know, I always like to test those with at least one game, if not another. I know some people have their kids do it. You know, they're experts at it. You say, hey, tell me, does this game work? I do that with my son a lot. Does this work? You know, I do not know.
I don't know if they mean they can't physically get to the game.
I don't know. There it goes. Can't get to game. Don't know how there is a game in it. Huh?
Like to open the game up or get the game to start. I don't know.
There is
Yeah, that's the key here is they can't play it.
Normally the game pops up when you turn it on, right?
Yep.
On almost all systems.
Yeah, you should be able to go.
So I would think that would be a bit
There's
weird.
a YouTube tutorial for just about everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's
Sorry,
what I
we
would do.
couldn't help more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it works, but I would YouTube it just to make sure, like, you know, there's might be a button that's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's your dolphin before I forget.
Super chat.
I appreciate you every week sending a super chat. Very, very much appreciated. Let me find where I was. Me being sick, I'm getting like, I don't know if you see me sweating. I'm like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Listen, and I don't know if Katie's in here. Katie reads because I was talking to her. She's like, that's just practice for menopause. I'm like, I do not want to hear that. Thank you very much. No. Yeah. No, thank you. Cardigan Mode says, for those of you who sell clothes, do you bother ironing or steaming the item before photographing?
I mean, it depends on how wrinkly it is. You know, I mean, you don't want it to look like a ball of wrinkles or it'll never sell. Right. So, I mean, it has to at least be presentable, you know, whether it's steaming it or, you know, toss it in the dryer, you know, a damp towel, throw it in the dryer just enough to get the wrinkles out. You know, you got to think, if I saw that picture on a listing, would I be interested in buying it? Or am I going to look at the guys next to it where it's not a ball of wrinkles? You know, so I think it has to look presentable, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the key. It's got to be presentable, especially if it's a higher end item. It's got to show a lot better. But you got to be careful with ironing too, right? Some of those you get
Yeah, if
heat
it's
up,
silk or
next thing
something.
you burn it or something. So yeah, You want it to look presentable. So I don't iron. I don't do a lot of clothes, but I just try to make them look as good as I can. If not, I pass it maybe to my wife and say, help me.
Yeah, I don't like doing clothing, so I can't stand it. So I would probably do the ball wrinkle thing. Kayla, on the other hand, is a big fan. Like, she does a really good job. She measures clothing, and she's been doing it like great. So her answer would be she would steam it, iron it, and make sure it's perfect. Me, I'm doing the ball wrinkles and hope somebody's like, man, that's it. I would discount it for the wrinkles though. I'd probably discount like $7 or something.
That's vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a vintage.
I've listed some. It's distressed.
Distressed. Yes. Heavily
I've listed
distressed.
some pretty wrinkled stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I typically do not iron, but I will smooth it out. So like I actually photographed back there on the carpet. I will like smooth it out with my hand, but I'm not ironing it. I might if it was like $100 piece of clothing, $50, I'm not ironing it. But $40 handkerchiefs that I know how to sell that high, those I did iron because they were so tiny. I went through like a whole stack in 10 minutes. Only $40 and higher now. $10, $15 ones you're getting it wrinkled. And mine still sell. But I agree. Like I said, I do smooth it out with my hand. I don't just like leave it crumpled up. So yeah. Michelle has a question for me. She said, I asked in a research video for ideas on other videos to make. Would I consider doing one on ties, Nintendo 64 consoles and games, and the same with Lego? The answer to all of those is no. And the reason is this. So on ties, I actually saw a video about a seller who only sold ties and made like $15,000 a month. And I like went on this kick trying to sell ties and I sucked at it. Okay. I sucked. So I think it's really hard to find good ties, especially sourcing at a thrift store. Like my Hermes tie I sold for $50 I found in an online auction lot. B, I have no interest in ties, like zero. And I don't want to say never. I'm going to rewind that. I'm not going to say never because a lot of my research videos are kind of spawned by me finding lots of that stuff. So I'm researching it anyways. So if I happen to find like a giant lot of expensive ties, then I might. But as of right now, I would not. And the same thing goes for Nintendo and Lego. I don't find them and I don't sell them. So with my research videos, I really try and stick to what I know. A lot of that's because some of those prices are fake. Some of them might be money laundering or whatever the heck they are. And if I don't know that category or that item, I wouldn't know enough to be like, oh, that's bogus. So I've missed a few things. People have pointed out in the comments. I'm not perfect. And the research videos already take quite a few hours to research and put together. So I don't do a lot of like backlog. Everybody wants to know when the bidding starts at. I don't have time to look at the beginning bid for everything. But if I happen to find any lot of any of those things, you might see it in the future. But as of right now, the answer is no. And a lot of people have asked me for ties too, but ties don't excite me. I really want to be excited by the research videos, and ties just, they don't do it for me. They don't do it for me. I see a Canadian super chat. Shelly M. Please tell Dalton we are all proud of him of being a big boy at school this week. I'll give him 100,000 hugs now. It's so funny because I don't feel good. And I don't know if it's a stomach bug or food poisoning, so I wouldn't let him kiss me, and he was so upset today. I'm like, buddy, I don't want to get you sick. He was pouting at me, made me feel horrible. It was awful. But I told him so many times, because I'll like, if I go tomorrow and he doesn't cry, I will be so, so happy. Because it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. At the same time, I'm not going to lie. It kind of broke my heart a little that he didn't cry at all and miss me. I'm like, he doesn't miss me anymore. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But I will definitely tell him he's asleep. He goes to bed pretty early now because he has to get up at 6:45 for school. So he is asleep. But I will definitely tell him, here is your dolphin.
Super chat.
Oh, speaking of Dalton, Richard's been dropping the link. I've been putting up videos on the Dalton and Dandy YouTube channel. We hit 200 subscribers. It's like starting over again. It's a baby channel. We hit 200 subscribers. So if you like Dalton, go over. I did like some scenery and nature and Dalton and the puppies and just 3 to 4 minute videos, nothing long. I'm doing it for fun. I think it'll be cool for Dalton to see, like when he's older, like him growing up, whether the channel goes anywhere or not. I decided I want to do this for him. And he likes making videos. The intros are all him talking to you, telling you what we're going to do in the video. So definitely go check that out if you guys love Dalton for sure. And Richard, thank you for sharing the link to that. Snowberry Vintage. Do you put yes or no in custom bundle in the item specifics? Why or why not?
Sometimes, I guess. I'm not one of the ones that goes through and has to check every box and put NA or fill in. Like I put in the recommended and a few others, and then I move on with life.
Yeah. I don't do much of that either. I don't know if there's custom bundle. Sometimes when you do amplifiers or something, they want the word bundle in the title, or sometimes I don't understand that, but I don't know if that relates to that, but I would say I don't do a lot of that either.
Yeah, no, not going to do that. I don't think I've ever, it's been on there for some golf clubs maybe. And I'd actually delete it. Cause I'm like, this is not,
just knock it off.
Yeah.
I don't try to make things too complicated. I try to keep it as simple as possible, I think.
Streamline.
Yeah, because it could be like, this isn't a custom bundle, and you're like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so it just, I think don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it.
Yes. So I will put it like, and actually I have another Xbox 360 to list, and I'll probably list it with some controllers and games. So for that, I might put it, but only if it makes sense. So like for a teacup and a saucer, I would ignore that part. But if it was like gaming, it's funny because I said I don't sell them, and I have one sitting on the floor. But you never know what I'm gonna sell. So only if it's very, very applicable. I definitely wouldn't in like all scenarios for sure. Now I lost where I was. I'm going to grab this on the way back up. I don't know. I was having withdrawal. Bradford, for those of you just listening, not watching us, Bradford asked what happened to not sourcing. I'm going to try again really hard. I will tell you though, if you've seen my death pile videos, I think all of the boxes except for one now on our shelves in the shed, but it's like 60 bankers boxes are now all listed. So it's like the middle row and the right wall. Brad is like, we cannot walk in the shed already. Why did you just buy 100 Longaberger baskets? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I bought 50 of them 8 months ago and did very, very well with them. That is the honest answer. And once I started looking again, the problem is I get in the habit of it and then I start doing it more. So that's what I'm going to try again. I'll try again. It's like, it's like any addiction. You got to like kick it several times. I don't want to kick it completely. I just want to kick it till I move through some of the death pile. But hopefully with using wholesale, I can move some stuff fast. I hope. I'm scrolling because it jumped on me, which it loves to do. And I don't want to miss anybody. Hold on. Hi, Shauna over on Facebook. Sourcing Treasure said, YouTube unsubscribe me from Mike and Julian. YouTube's just weird. They like unsubscribe me from Julian like 4 times. And I'm like, what in the heck is this thing doing? Like I would go, and it's when I was like stalking Julian when we were both coming up on 40,000 subscribers, I think it was. And every time I went to check where he was at, I was unsubscribed. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on? So it happened like multiple
Were you
times.
doing that on purpose? You're like, he's not
Yeah,
going
he's
to get there
trying to-
before me.
40,000,
Yeah.
39, 40,000. No, I really wasn't. I don't know why it did that. It's so weird. But it makes me wonder, like, is there a lot of channels I really like, but I don't get to watch often? Like, I wonder how many have, like, fell off for that reason, you know? And I don't scroll my homepage a lot, so I might not see them.
Yeah.
Donald Nolder says he watches the show all the time while he irons out the wrinkles in men's clothing. If you always list in one category and switch to another for a day, does it confuse the algorithm for store traffic?
Is this one category? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows ultimately? Nobody knows how the algorithm actually works, but I wouldn't think that eBay would care so much about what you're listing, even other just that you're listing.
Yeah, I don't think it matters whatsoever to the algorithm. It's just the thing that's key is listing continually and just listing. There's some times where, hey, one day I might list just all albums. It doesn't matter. The next day I might mix a mix. It just happens. So golf clubs, like I think Julian will say that, hey, we both do golf clubs. Golf clubs are a pain sometimes because they're we got to take several angles and the listing takes time because of the shaft and all that. And, so we could list golf clubs all day and the next day you could do a mix. So no, I don't think it matters at all.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with them. And I think it's actually easier, kind of what Mike just said, is that if I'm doing golf clubs, I'm only doing like drivers or, the bigger headed clubs, fairway drivers and stuff like that. Then I might do putters one day. So I get 30 putters. If I'm doing like sets of golf clubs, I'm only going to do 5 of those a day because they are so annoying to list. Because he can tell you, you got 8 different clubs, 8, 9 clubs. You got to take pictures of them. You got to lay them out. You got to clean them all. And that takes a lot of time. So I would say like 50, 75% of the time, I'm only listing in one category. And one day I'll do all shoes one day, all golf clubs one day, and stuff like that. I very rarely switch it up just because my lighting is going to be different for different things. A lot of times for golf clubs, I don't do a background delete because I have like a wood background. They show pretty good on that. And then if I'm doing like clothing, I'm going to have that totally different. So I don't think it matters. I think just listing actually just works.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. I think just listing is what really matters. I don't think it'll confuse the algorithm for your store. The only thing I could see is like if you do almost all men's clothing, it might throw off people watching your store, but I don't think they would unfollow you. And I think they would eventually get used to you doing a bunch of different kinds of stuff. Like me, people probably watch me because they never know what the heck I'm going to sell next. They're like, what is this lady doing? I think we're up over 6,000 followers on eBay, which is amazing. People are stalking me and I'm okay with it. If you want to steal my listing, steal away. I'm good with it. Yeah. Steal them all. Cora Hare. Hi, everyone. When you have an item you think might be very valuable and maybe one of a kind, like an icon, where can you go to research that?
The internet. I mean, I guess like Google search it, and see if it pops up anywhere. But other than that, you could look at Terapeak to see if it's shown up within the last year on eBay. Past that, you can look up WorthPoint. I'm not sure how long WorthPoint is. It go back like what, like 8 years, or it goes back a long time.
10 years, 10 to 12, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can't find it on there, then it's time to start getting on the Google machine and seeing if you can find it. Do the Google image search, or check a couple of keywords, see if you can't find it. You may just have. I mean, I found a belt buckle this weekend that I actually put it on Instagram and asked a couple people, hey, you saw a lot of motorcycle stuff. Have you seen this before? Everybody's going, no. It might be one of a kind. It looks like it's probably handmade, and so I can't find one like it anywhere. And so as a result, I just listed it stupid high. I mean, it's almost $200. We'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. So if ultimately you can't find it, find the crazy number, list it high with best offer, and see what happens.
Yeah, I do a lot of books. So sometimes you run across a book that's unique. You might take it to somebody like a bookstore that has a used bookstore with a guy who maybe has a little bit more knowledge than you, if you really think it's worth something. But generally speaking, just like they said, you can find it anywhere on usually Google. I don't use WorthPoint, but I've heard stuff about WorthPoint and that kind of stuff. But it's out there. You just kind of have to dig around it, and eventually you'll find it. And use, this is where I like to think about networking. Sometimes if you have a good network of other pickers, they might have seen it too. So I'll share pictures with other pickers and say, hey, look, guys, have you seen this? Do you know something about this? And somebody will come back to me and say, hey, yeah, this is what this is, or this is pretty good. So.
And I agree with everything they just said, and I'll just add the same thing. Like Facebook groups, if it's a certain thing, shoot it out there to a Facebook group. What I've learned, though, is that if it is worth a lot of money, it's going to be out there somewhere. So, like, it's not going to be, like, unless it's super, unless it's, like, one of a kind, like, ridiculous, usually you can find it somewhere or somebody has seen it. So if you go through all those avenues and you still haven't found it, either you have, like, some sort of gem or it's just really not worth anything.
Yeah, I agree with Julian, and I really want to caution, especially those of you that are new at reselling, against thinking everything is worth a ton of money, because you'll spend hours researching something worth $10 and it's really not worth it. If it's one of a kind, I would look for stuff similar. I use WorthPoint. And like Troy said, Google. I actually had something I had to Google yesterday because it wasn't on WorthPoint. So that does happen. There are those really rare items. If it's something like a popular brand or a popular person or destination, you can put it up on auction at the lowest you're willing to take. And if it is popular, it will sell. Now, if it's this one-off that is going to take that right buyer, you do not want to do that. But I agree with Julian. Most times if stuff's worth money, you will find it somewhere sold or something very, very similar. It's very rare to not be able to find stuff, especially WorthPoint with it's 10 or 12 year history. If you don't find it there, and I told you I had one yesterday, so it does happen, but not very often.
And there are
Chris,
two, companies. There are companies. I used one time, and I'm completely forgetting the name of the company. If you're really interested, shoot me an email because I can probably find the email in my system and find the name that will do appraisals for you. You send them all the pictures and what information
George
you have.
the Antique Nomad does them too for $10.
Yeah, I used a company. I should have used George. I don't know why I didn't, but I used this company. I think they charged me $25, and it's really good because they'll send you back like a PDF of this is all the information that we have about this sort of item. This is the price range where it would probably sell. It costs $25, so you want to make sure that your thing is worth spending that money. Or like Kat said, talk to George. But there are companies or individuals that will appraise stuff like that. That they're walking encyclopedias. They just might know. You can go that way too.
Yeah, so Chris, I don't know if Julian watched last week's show. So Julian Tay did the dolphin sound in the big screen for the super chats. He did. It was. I'm not even going to attempt because it was very comical. So if you didn't watch last week's show, Tay, Prison to Profit, which in 2 days Tay is on A&E's 60 Days In, guys. It is premiering. Tay will be on that TV show. But Tay did the dolphin sound. If you missed that last week, go back. But I would not ask Julian. Tay just likes to do it on his own. I would not ask anybody. Well, that's a lie. They sent super chats for Scott and Rachel to do the dolphin sound too. It got kind of funny last week. Allison says eBay updated my listing tool. Can I change back? And if so, how?
Is that the online or the desktop?
Yeah, the dashboard
version. I'm hearing they're changing that just entirely for listing stuff. I don't list things online. I list on my phone. So, I actually listed partially something yesterday. That belt buckle, I had to use the desktop feature because I wanted to add video because it's got a movable part to it. And so I used that. But otherwise, I just use my phone. But I do think that they are ultimately eventually switching everybody over to the new look listing thing.
I'm fairly new at this. I did this for, only 3 years. I went through several dashboards of theirs. They kept changing it. It can really be unsettling when it happens because you're so used to one. But there used to be a tab that say you could go back to the old one for a while. You could click that button, but I don't know if it's still there. Basically, you're better off just using that one, learning it because it's going to be the new one. I know that my son who does it, his was looking completely different than mine. He finally called eBay and said, hey, can you switch me to my dad's? Because I knew more about that one than his. His was the older version, so it was, where we were doing two. So I think you just roll with it. The new one's actually pretty good after a while. It does take a little bit getting used to the one that I'm using. At least I don't know if everybody's got a different one, but I still don't understand why eBay just doesn't have one. Why do we have to have, it seems like there's several out there. Try Amazon. Hey, see Amazon's back end. You'll flip your lid. You think eBay is jacked up? Amazon's worse.
I solely use my phone, so they could shut it down. I probably wouldn't know until I was on this show.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mainly use my phone, but I do make my drafts active on the computer. I'm still on the old one, and it does keep asking me. Like every day I click into it, it says, do you want to change to the new update? And I'm like, no. But I don't know if it did it without giving you a choice. A lot of times I know Hybrid changed and I kept reverting to the original screen, and finally they took it away. It was like they gave you this transition period where you can use the old one for a little while and then they pull that rug out. So I would look, normally it's on the bottom and it says switch to classic view. That's typically what most of them say. I would look for that. Yeah. If not, then I would try and get used to it. And it is hard because I've seen it for sure. Sunkissed, who has been messaging me on Instagram because she couldn't get this. She said she was having issues tonight. She finally got it. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I was trying to help her with it. She wants to know, Julian, do beat up 1960s golf clubs still sell? Also, are all of us going to FlipCon and any live streaming? So Julian, you answer first, and then we'll all go around and answer the second part.
All depends on the club. I don't know if it was from the 60s, just sort of Ben Hogan 1-iron. But I mean, there's some like old ping putters from back in the day that are going to be worth a ton of money. It all depends on the actual club. So, and that kind of goes with like even new clubs. It all depends on the actual club, who the maker is. But definitely if you get like an older club, some of them are actually worth a ton of money, like a lot. So it's going to really depend on, and golf clubs to me are really easy to comp out because everything's on the club usually. So as long as you start typing stuff in, shafts can get all messed up though. A lot of times, sometimes the shafts are it's just a long story. But the main bottom line is that just type everything on the head of the club, and then that should give you some sort of guidance.
Okay, so are all of us going to FlipCon? And she's asking if FlipCon's doing any live streaming.
I don't know if they are or not. I'm not going. The cost for me to get there even is just super high. I mean, I'm in Montana, y'all. I mean, we're at the end of the road, so it's expensive for me to get out to stuff like that, and so it just financially didn't make sense. I am showing up at something in September. I can't say where yet because it's not been announced, but I will be somewhere in September, just not at FlipCon.
Yeah, I might do next year. My wife just retired. We have several things planned, so. This year, no. Next year, I think I want to do is eBay World. Is that something that's going to come back or something like that?
eBay Open, I think, is online, except for they're doing, I think, 3. And I did sign up for it for the first time ever. And I've been on eBay since '99. That's because I really wanted the cool swag more than I want. I will go check stuff out, but I really wanted the swag. I saw everybody's pictures of their swag last time. I was really jealous. So this time I signed up. This time. But they're doing like New York, LA, and maybe Vegas. It's like 3 major cities they are doing live events at.
Okay, they are going to be okay.
I would not be at FlipCon. Nope.
And I will be at FlipCon. I will be on the panel, and I have no idea if there is any live streaming. I do not know. I don't know if Josh has talked about it or if he said, I will not be doing any live streaming from FlipCon. I know that. I'm going to, relax and network and socialize is my, I'm not making any videos there. I might. There might be a secret video. I haven't decided yet, but it's not going to be live streaming or a FlipCon. It'll be outside of there. So yeah. Oh, Dolphin, listen, I'm trying. I've made it an hour. I'm halfway there. All right. Here is your Dolphin.
Super chat.
Liz Moore, $1.99 super chat. Oh, broken AC in the 105 degree in California. Oh, I'm glad we're saving you, but man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough. I feel your pain. Even with the AC in the shed, at the end of the day, it still gets a little toasty because we're right at that 100 mark too. And I only have one, and it's a big shed. But man, I hope it's fixed soon. Here's a dolphin. They'll show you the water, and you can pretend like you're at the ocean. There you go.
Super chat.
Oh, and I see she's at the football game, and I love that. And football is starting in like 2 weeks. I'm super excited. Okay, enough about that. Shelly says, I wanted to ask, how do we deal with slow weeks? Do we ever consider free shipping? And Shelly, if you're in here still, tell us. I'm not sure what she means by if there's any websites we use for discounts. And she said, welcome back, Julian.
Hello.
I'm wondering if she means like for shipping, pirate ship sometimes.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pirate ship is good for something that's quite small, but heavy, because they go by like cubic rate. So if it's very heavy, but it fits in a small box, you can get it for a cheaper rate through pirate ship. You can link your eBay account to that and it's fine. You don't have to stress about, is this an okay? Like you can link your eBay account and that way you can actually import all of your eBay listings or all of your eBay orders into pirate ship. And you can print the label right off of there and it puts the information on eBay for like tracking and all of that. In terms of slow weeks, I mean, take advantage of the downtime. If you're doing all the things you need to do, but it's slow, sort of like the first quarter, things are slower. Take advantage of that time. Do something to better your business is what I always tell people, whether it's, just cleaning and organizing your space, whether it's, making sure your SKUs are right, list more, go out and source more, watch some videos or learn about a category, pick something, do something to make your business better. That would be my recommendation.
Man, Troy stole everything. He took everything on. You took everything.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, man. I mean, that was absolutely perfect. That is dead perfect. Sometimes I'm one of those people that embraces a slow week now and then. It doesn't affect me. I mean, I do Amazon books. So I have two, what I call sources that come through. So sometimes I want like maybe a little bit of a break, so that I can catch up. Like Troy says, I need to do some things. And some people got to have it. The only way you're going to work through it is keep listing, keep sourcing, keep going. Eventually you will break through if you have the stuff, and it just happens. It happens to all of us. That's part of just business in general. I owned a retail store for 30 years. I had to figure patterns out where my slow times were, what my inventory had to be like during those slow times. For example, I later in the time, I had to deal with Chinese New Year. So I had to work around those times. So you got to figure out where those maybe patterns are and just work around them. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and she did mean by like shipping discounts. So Troy was
okay, good. So Troy hit the nail on the head.
Pirate ship.
And I'm the same way. Like basically, if you're listing and you've done what you wanted to do that day and it's still going slow, then I agree with Troy and them and just do something else. Mine is going to be cleaning and organizing, hands down. Like if I'm super slow and I'm like, or I list more, so it's one or the other. But usually it's going to be like I need to go organize the storage unit or clean the storage unit because if I've been busy like shipping and everything, that's all been neglected. Slow weeks, they happen, but like capitalize on them. Go do something where you can where your fast weeks happen. That stuff's already done. You don't have to worry about it. Or go through the shipping supplies. If you have a fast couple weeks.
Oh my gosh! I just ordered $200 in shipping supplies today.
Yep. So
you see my boxes over there look kind of empty.
Yeah. See, that middle one looks a little bit.
Brad's like, I told you last week, and I'm like,
It's all those teacups. I mean,
You
I
just
need
reminded me. I'm going to order some
those
supplies
teacups.
literally right now. 1 second.
Yes, do it. Do it. I did it today. We
I
were
forgot.
out of almost every, not out, but almost out, like
I
running
need
out.
some poly mailers, and I forgot to order them, so I'm going to get them right now.
And order your priority stuff now for fourth quarter.
Now.
Like if you need priority boxes, do it now.
Busy time is coming up for sure.
Yep.
So for me, I agree with everybody else. I will list more on slow weeks. I should spend time organizing, but I tend to list more. I think organizing would definitely be a good use of your time. Do I ever consider free shipping? I have, and I actually went on a tangent about it. My thoughts on it is I really don't like the atmosphere of creating people thinking shipping doesn't cost money, because it does. So it's kind of hard for me, because people will message me and be like, and I got a message like this about an hour ago. You need to discount this. The shipping's so high. No, I'm in Florida. You're in California. If I'm the only one, you need to pay the shipping or buy it from somebody in California where it's cheaper. And that's typically my response back is, look, I don't make any money on shipping. It's calculated by weight from my zip code to yours. Yep. You're welcome to make an offer and I'll consider it. But if they, like, a lot of them will take the shipping off and offer me that because they want to feel like they are getting free shipping. So if it's like a $200 item, then I'm probably going to accept their offer. And if they think they're getting free shipping, whatever. But if we're talking a $30 or $40 item, probably I'm not going to go down 10 or 12 bucks for that. Especially if it's something newly listed. And I use pirate ship to ship like my journals that I sell off my big cartel site. And to those of you in my class, I'm sorry, I gave away. So in my classes, I give away stuff every time. I haven't felt good, so I haven't shipped your stuff out. I'll sanitize the bag I just touched. But I use pirate ship for that too. And my live sales, I use pirate ship. Super chat, Christopher. No dolphin. Done. Always tell me if you guys don't want the dolphin. Some people don't like it, which is completely okay. I'm gonna work on another one. I need like a woos. Give me some idea. Not in the chat. Like I don't know where. Where should they tell me?
I don't know.
I want some idea. Maybe I'll make a poll on my. Yeah, like in the comments of the video, not in the chat, because the chat's like crazy. But in the comments, tell me what you would like to see for like a super chat thing. A lot of people said Dalton, so I will work on that when he is coachable, which is not every day. Not every day he's coachable. But I will work on that. Thank you, Christopher. I greatly appreciate that. Shelly wants to know, Julian, did you flip your camera view?
That's actually funny. We did. I was sitting over here, and then we're a little bit, but we're redoing a lot since Kayla is full time now. We have a bigger storage unit, and we're turning this room more into like a YouTube where I can like show the items. If you watch my videos at the end, I show my items in the garage, and it's hot out there, like really stupidly hot. So, and I've been doing it all summer, but we're thinking this room. We want our main goal. This is a long conversation, but our main goal is to get all listed items out of this house. Like we're trying to separate the house from everything else just because there's just so much. So that's what we're trying to do. So are you going to
put it all in storage, the listed stuff, everything?
Yeah, we want one really big place or two places. We want one where it would be like an intake. So I would do my videos because I do my videos first. Then we go through everything basically. And so then they would go into the unlisted inventory, like storage. And then when they get listed, they would move over to the listed area. Or we would have just one big warehouse, like one or the other. But right now, that's what we're flipping back and forth. But we're slowly moving stuff out of this room to make it, because we were thinking about whatnot too. And you need a place to do whatnot. Like you need like a spot. Like we don't have any type of like area where we could do that, because where I'm sitting now.
Listen, I would just do it right here, and I probably will just do it right here.
Yeah, but do you
everybody has such cool backgrounds?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So I don't know.
But a lot of people have cool backgrounds in their videos too, like Troy and I. Like have made it this far with this, so
I do like.
Maybe I'll green screen it. Can you green screen on Whatnot? Maybe I'll
I
do
don't
that.
know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
I
don't
will
think
do
so.
that. All right. EGV Vintage. Once you list an item, have you ever raised the price later on because you realize the item is being sold for more money, or would you leave the original price?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I mean, I have no problem with raising a price. Sometimes that results in a sale, honestly. I've heard people say, I raised the price on something and a watcher bought it. Why? I don't know, but maybe they're worried you're going to raise it again. But until it's sold, you can set whatever price you want.
So it keeps
Yeah.
going up.
Same thing. I've accidentally said it like you go 1995 and you've done 1995 and you go, whoa, wait, let me go back and change. But yeah, I got to put a 1 in there. I've done that where you've forgotten, and that can be a problem. But yeah, I would go back in and raise. Sure, if it was there, I'd be raising the price too. If it warranted that, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And if I remembered that I had like what price it was, you know, like, or if something happened and I knew I had something in my store, like something happened, like a world event or something, I had something that correlated to that.
Yeah,
and
you
something
go in
shot
and
up. Then I might do that. But I wouldn't even remember if I probably what the price was I had it at. But ultimately, yes.
I have, and sometimes I've done it despite people because they made me mad. I won't lie. Like, you lowball me, okay, the price is $50 higher now.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. Not a lot. Maybe only like 3 to 5 times ever. But I do, like, if I happen to see that, then I might. Super sticker from Kitty Tucker Stevens. Thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Cover your ears. I saw a lot of people said the dolphin's loud. The new super chat will be quieter. Here you go.
Super chat.
So I keep trying to get footage of dolphins when we're out on the boat where I could use like my own footage. And those little suckers, it's like they know you're trying to video them and they're like gone. As soon as I break the phone out, they're gone. So I've tried. All right. Sourcing Treasures wants to know, Mike, she wants to know, how's your son doing with son-in-law doing with reselling?
He's with the Coast Guard, so he's in the military. And this is a great supplement for them. He is doing really well. We went out this weekend and he scored about $1,000 worth of stuff. So he's really good at it. He likes it. He's got 3 little ones, so it is brutal. So I can feel for him here, but he is supplementing the income for his family. And that's the great thing about reselling. And eventually he wants to put 20 years into the military. And then he eventually wants to do something with the reselling. And, you know, he's taking his time. So, yeah, he's doing really great. My son still does it. Josh has a lot of ability. I know he can do it. He finds a lot of cool stuff. He's just not knowledgeable with it yet, as far as, you know, he's young. But my son-in-law and my daughter really pushes him, which is great. You really need somebody to push him. So he's doing really fantastic. And they're in Jamaica right now. So that tells you they're doing okay.
Right. Everybody, Miss Julian. Miss Julian.
Hey, I'm glad I'm back.
Miss Lynn wants to know, would a misprint on a Harley pin make it more valuable?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, in a lot of like pop culture collectibles, that would be, you know, some sort of screw up on the packaging often does, just because it's so rare and one off. With a Harley pin, I don't know. Honestly, I can't say one way or the other.
Sometimes maybe coins would be like that, would be, you know, more valuable. I know the McDonald's Thai Beanie Babies had heirs and they weren't worth much. So I don't know, you know, it heirs, it really depends on the item, but I don't know about a Harley pin unless it was really rare or something.
Or it's like a knockoff and it has like 2 L's or 2 R's,
Right.
and like Oakley. You know, if you ever bought like
Yeah.
a pair of fake Oakleys that's spelt wrong, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a mistake. It's just that's a knockoff.
That's a
pair,
knockoff.
so-
I had a pair of I had a pair of Beats that they had Lamborghini spelt one way on the package and another way on the package. It was
There you go.
like, really? It's pretty good.
So if it is an actual Harley pin with a mistake, I have no idea. But just be
Yeah.
careful. Maybe it's their own purpose.
Exactly.
My thought was exactly what Julian said. I feel like it's probably a fraudulent pin more so than it's more valuable. So it might be less valuable. I think I had like 2 or 3 that were misspelled and I listed them, but I listed them for like really cheap. And I pointed out that it was, or it had like 100-year anniversary to the wrong year. And I know that that's not Harley's anniversary. I'm like, yeah, no. But I put in the title what the pin said, even though I knew it wasn't right. And it still sold just really, really cheap. So I think probably more likely it's not worth as much.
Though there
Kelly
are
wants
some
to
knockoffs
know-
that are actually worth more than the
There are bootleg t-shirts is a good example of that.
like the Care Bear
But
plush. There was like
Yeah.
there was a little like a spin-off, basically Care Bear, and the generic rip-off Care Bears, they're worth more than the actual vintage Care Bears often. It's weird.
Sailor Moon did too. They had some little figurines that were knockoffs, so manga. So there are some stuff out there that like that. All right.
That would be my internet that time, not me. Shelly wants to know any underhanded buyer tricks to be aware of. So I would address this more towards the new sellers, I feel like, but we can give them generalized tips as well. And thank you to those of you watching over on Facebook. That's where Kelly's watching us from.
Yeah, I mean, the very, very new sellers, you're going to get like that offer that's just as much or more than what your item is. Then they're going to ask you to do basically complete the transaction off of eBay. Anybody that tries to get you to complete any kind of transaction, call a phone number. Immediately it's just decline, erase, maybe even contact eBay for Business just to make sure that they know that you're not screwing around with it. Because that'll get your account in trouble if you're doing things off of eBay. I actually had one just the other day. I've been waiting to see if something happened of it, and it's been about a week and nothing's happened. So I'll probably put it on a video coming up this week just to show people what happened. But I sold a new sealed DVD to somebody, $4.99 plus shipping. I mean, it's very cheap. Very often it seems like it's the cheap items that this happens on.
Oh yeah.
They sent me a picture of them holding a DVD upside down full of scratches saying, hey, this is nowhere near new. It's all scratched up. It wouldn't even play. It's junk. I need a refund. And, you can't tell that it's the DVD. You don't know. I said, well, sure. Be professional because eBay can look at your messages. They want to see that even if you're annoyed and they're clearly being obnoxious, just stay professional, kill them with kindness. I said, you know what? If you return that to me, we'll look at starting the refund process. I didn't say I'll give you a refund. I said, we'll look at starting the process. And they say, well, I threw it away. It's junk. It's scratched. It won't even work. So it's on its way to the dump right now. I need a refund. I said, well, if you start a return, I can give you a refund. Well, I already told you that it's on the way to the dump. If I start it, you knowing that I can't send it to you, will you then give me a refund? No, unfortunately, I can't do that now because I need to have the item back. And so you're saying you're not going to give me any money. You're not going to give me my money back. Unfortunately, that's the case. Never heard from them again. Like that was it. It could have been come loose and gotten scratched in there, I suppose. But they're not going to take a picture of the underside of it and then throw it away and then message me. They're just trying to get a free DVD. So you just go buy the book and be very kind with them the whole time. And just sniff. I mean, there are people that are going to try and take advantage of you. It happens.
I want to throw in really quick because exactly to what Troy's saying, if that buyer were to have then told Troy, if you do not give me my money back, I'm leaving you negative feedback. That is feedback extortion. And if they left you negative feedback, you could get it removed. Right. So I just wanted
that's what I was
to
waiting for to see if there was some scathing feedback or some. They just dropped it, which that leads me to think, okay, well, clearly they were just trying to get $5 plus shipping back.
Yeah, I've had the negative feedback where they try to extort it from you, and then I will copy and paste the eBay rules on negative feedback to kind of shoot them back a little bit on something like that. For example, you've got to just cover your P's and Q's to make sure that you don't get scammed. Some of the things that are key are serial numbers. If your item has a serial number, make sure you get a photo of that serial number. The classic one was for me. This Julian was a cool one. Ping set of irons that had serial numbers. Mm-hmm. They put the serial number on the hosel. This gentleman claimed that they were fake. I took the serial number, and you can call Ping. I called Ping. I actually made a video on this. I called Ping, gave them the serial number. They told me everything exactly about those irons. I presented that back to the buyer, and the buyer mysteriously, he sent me some photos, and he accidentally sent one with the wrong serial number. He was trying to switch his out with mine. I nailed him. So you've got to do the little things to make sure that you don't get scammed. A lot of times it'll be a zero feedback person. You've got to be aware of them. Sometimes they'll be putting in higher offers. You know, it's $100 and they want to offer you higher. All kinds of weird things. It's basically a common sense approach. That's all you can do. Make sure you take care of your pictures, especially serial numbers, markings. If you see a mark on a particular item, shoot that mark so that, hey, that same item comes back. Other things like Troy said, I had somebody say that they didn't even receive the DVD. They received the case and no DVD. I know better. I asked for the case back. I don't care. It's $4. I'll take the $4 loss. Give me the case. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of keeping the case. You can keep the game. Fine. Go ahead. But I'm going to keep the case.
Yeah, they talked a lot. Yeah, that's about it. And then just I've done it, but it's not a good practice in the beginning, especially with something like high dollar. And if you're a new reseller, like on eBay, is switching addresses, because if it goes to the address because you can edit the address and they can say, hey, send it here. I've done that with golf clubs. The person was like, a lot of times they're in Florida. Seriously, they're in Florida and they're like, hey, I'm in Florida. Can you send it to this hotel because we're out here playing golf and I need this pitching wedge? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
I need it for this week.
Yeah, seriously, that's happened to me multiple times, and that to me that makes sense. The one I did it on and almost got burned was like a Bose stereo system, which I should have known not to send it to the same. It was messed up. So I don't send it on high dollar items. Like if it's a golf club, the guy's like, I'm in this hotel, and usually that works out to my ability. And I have not messed that one up yet, or somebody hasn't scammed me on that one yet, if the story makes sense. But a lot of times don't switch any type of addresses. If they're like, it's the wrong address, tell them, hey, you're going to have to fix that on eBay. Because if it goes to the other place and they say they don't get it, they don't get it. You're going to have to give them their money back, because eBay doesn't know where that went.
Yeah, I think they covered a lot of good things. I would add to like Mike saying that they didn't receive it. I would tell them I will match the weight of when it was sent to when it's received, and I will make sure the weight was the same, just to like scare them. You can scare them just a little bit. I don't do a lot of electronics because I do feel like electronics have more scammers. Electronics, video games, your popular stuff, it's heavier there. I just sold a DVD player. I just sold an Xbox 360, no issues. But if you're doing stuff like that, it's a little bit higher. I agree with Mike, take pictures of the serial number if you're doing electronics or anything with a serial number. And I will tell people if they're like, it didn't work, and I know I tested it, I'll say, okay, we have an inventory marking system. When I get it back and match it up to my inventory marking system, which I don't have a marking system, but they don't know that I didn't put some secret mark inside of it somewhere. Then I tell them I'll give them a refund, and a lot of them disappear then as well. Want to say hello. That is Julian's wife, Kayla, Southern Pearl Thrifter, in the chat. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for letting us borrow Julian for 2 hours a week, every week.
Hello.
Mostly for a long time.
When is she going to co-host, by the way?
Yeah, now that
she
she has.
That.
Yeah, usually she's working. She used to work night shifts, so she would never be here on Tuesday.
Yeah, but now she's off. We should totally do that.
That's a good idea.
We should do that. Kayla, we should do that.
If you're in the chat.
Michelle Martin sent another $2 super chat and said, what are your inventory organization goals?
Goals, right? Just to be better. I have a partially implemented SKU system. I honestly don't use it a lot. And so for the stuff that I sold very recently, I just remember, oh, I put it on that shelf. Oh, I put it in this in this tote. I don't know how. I just remember. But then I sell something that's 3 years old. Then you're going, well, it's in one of 6 totes and you have to look through it. So at some point, I just need to sit down and skew every tote. It's something I want to do. I have a few totes that are skewed. I'm just not good at doing it when I list new items. So I get behind really easily. So I just want to do that better.
Yeah, the one thing I wish I had done was better at the beginning would be organization from this. Once you get into this rat thing of nest of 12, 13, 1400, and you don't have a real system, you've got to use this up here. I'm getting older, so I don't want to have those little cells start dropping. So my inventory system is just shelves. I try to keep electronics on one, that kind of thing. I do have, like Troy, I do have some bins that do have some markings, but it's hard because, like Troy said, I'll forget. I'll put the listing up, then I won't put it what bin it's in. So I'm still back to square one. I mean, you've got to be very well organized within that, but I think it has to start at the beginning of your reselling before it gets too out of control.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do not know where to go from here, basically. I've tried to do it with my books a little bit better, and I still screw that up. So
it's super hard to do it once you're in it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you are starting and you have like just a few items listed, go back and start some sort of SKU system, some sort of, because once you're, like they said, once you're in it, you end up like this, where things are just sitting on shelves. And you're like, and one day I would like to, my goal would be definitely have a, not quite like Ginger Marvin, because that's super hard and that would take me forever. Because she is extremely, well organized. Even I would take half of that. Like half in bins, I know where it is. Because a lot of times I'm like looking around, like, where is this? It's somewhere. I know it's here.
It's always something small.
Yeah, it's always something small. It's always under $20 for me that I'm
it's like the
spending
$20 item.
$5.
Yeah. So my goal would be really just to do better. Like Troy said, like I just need to do better. Like skew something. Golf clubs are the only things that are skewed, and I know exactly where they are. That's the only thing.
My goal is to be able to see the floor again.
That's a pretty good goal.
Step one.
I just want, I want sunlight. I just want sunlight coming through.
Right? Yeah, through the windows. I don't. You see, we have blackout curtains. It's hot out here. The shed's in the middle of the sun. Yeah, so I would like to get my middle row listed in the back of this shed. We're pretty decent as far as organization. I probably started 6 months in, so I agree with everybody. Like the further in you are, the harder it is. We have 6,200 items listed, guys. If I don't know where it's at, that's a lot of stuff to look through. And there's still some from the beginning, like that pot lid that sold today. I got lucky because I remember when I see stuff, luckily, and I'm like, I know I saw it. I know I saw it recently. I know it's somewhere. And luckily, again, I found it. But if you're new, I would start something now. Even if it's putting bin below table, just something descriptive where you know where it's at. That's all you need to put. And your buyer doesn't see it. Put something so you know where it is. And yeah. So here is your dolphin. I appreciate you, Michelle, very much.
Super chat.
Where did it go? How is Dalton doing, and are we surviving without him? He is doing good. Today was his best day so far, so that's good. And we are surviving. It's very, very quiet. Brad, I've been impressed. I got to give my husband some kudos here. Like, we bring Dalton to school. Brad normally was sleeping in. He's getting up every morning. We're taking Dalton to school, and then Brad's out in his shed working. So he's working on getting his tools. His table saw will be here this week, so he should be building stuff by next week. And like, I don't see him, so the house is like really quiet because Dalton's at school, Brad's in his shed, and then my 20-year-old sleeps in. So I'm like, it's very quiet in here. So yeah, we're doing okay. It's definitely hard, but we're surviving. Him doing better will make me feel a little bit better. It's hard. I'm not gonna Tone Morris wants to know if any of us source through storage units and said he feels alone.
I've done it a couple of times with friends that buy them, and we sort of just split it up, and we all kind of, I guess, draft items essentially, and we take some stuff. I bought one once. I don't have a lot of room. I'm not like Kat with 17 acres and 4 barns. I have my garage, and so I can't go as much as I want to and buy a storage unit full of stuff. I have nowhere to put it and get all that stuff out in 48 hours, right? So, but I've gone and I've bought some small units and done really well. I see Flips Finds Fun. Josh is in the chat. He does storage units. I know there are people that do it, and you can find fantastic stuff in there. It's kind of fun. I like going online and doing it, and we have some live auctions here in town that I've been to, and just never bought anything because I can't handle the volume right now.
I just started doing them. I bought my first storage locker from Dave Hester at Dave Hester's auctions, and he comes up from
pretty cool.
He comes up from LA, and Dave Hester had an auction, and I managed to buy a locker for $50, realizing it was 8x8, but I forgot it was 8x8 by like 10. It's stacked to the rafter. You forget, 8x8 in your head. But a long story short, I made money out of the locker. It was about 20 miles from my house, this particular, and it was difficult to get rid of the junk. Okay. But I enjoyed it. And Dave Hester was extremely nice to me and to everybody in giving us pointers and tips and help. But I went back to the latest one he did, and I did not buy. Okay. My friend bought 3, and he did okay. It's been a struggle for him because some of those things were pretty big. But I am going with the money to buy the big hitters. There's a guy out here called Locker Nuts. A lot of people probably have watched his show. Mm-hmm. He's out in my area, and he's found some really, really good lockers. He found a train locker that was worth a ton of money. And so I'm going to go for the big hitters. So I'll bring big money and wait to see if I can find something that looks like, hey, it's going to be a big hitter. So yeah, I will continue to look at that avenue.
I've bought a few, and kind of like Troy, real quick, I realized that I cannot set up for this. I love them. I think they're awesome. I wish that I had a big warehouse and I could, because I bought some bigger units. They were like 10 by 15 or 15 by 20, and they were huge units, and they had furniture and a whole bunch of junk, but a whole bunch of good things. The thing is we were dealing with one vehicle. So we were using one truck, no trailer. So you get a lot of junk. You get a lot of trash. So you have to get rid of it. Then if you have furniture, you got to put it somewhere, right? So you're like quickly running out of room. And a 10 by 15 unit is gigantic because that's like one garage full. Yeah. Well, you're already done. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to. I bought, I think 3. One we did super good on, like really, really well. I would like to get into it again, but I just don't have the space. Like I would need a warehouse. You would need something bigger.
Yeah. So last week we had Cha-Ching King on. If you don't watch him, watch him. He has had like amazing luck at lockers. He just got one with like 8 sweats that were new in the box. And he got another one with like brand new tablet. So he was on last week. And I think that's his main way of sourcing is storage lockers and estate sales. I have not done any because I do enough damage with online auctions. I already don't have enough room, but we eventually, I have a barn, but it needs like major overhaul, like thousands and probably tens of thousands of dollars of repair. It's 30 by 50, but it is on a concrete slab. So that's a lot of the expense. So eventually, maybe one day, I like the surprise aspect of it, especially if you can get it cheap. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of lots. So I do buy a ton of lots on online auctions. And I do get emails for storage units. And you never know. If one really catches my eye, I'm not saying I wouldn't figure it out. But I would have to buy a trailer. Like Julian said. I've not done that yet. And Brad will be cursing me for that. He might buy a trailer when he goes to pick up my Longaburger baskets tomorrow because it's going to be fun. I was going to go get them. And he needs to go get a tool. He found a planer like $400 cheaper than it is at the store, like really, really nice. And I'm like, oh, that's the same town I need to pick up my Longaberger baskets in because it's 2 hours away. I'm like, so why don't you go pick up my stuff and you can get your planer? So kind of roped him into that one, and he'll be cussing me. Sunkissed sent another super chat, $1.99, sending love, light, and prayer. Yes, I would like to feel better. I'm happy. I've made it through an hour and a half.
Good.
I am definitely not here mentally 100%. And I'm ready to run to bed, but I think I will make it. So thank you again. Here is your dolphin.
Super chat.
All right. Oh, I want to say again, guys, I am only to 8:13. So again, if you have questions, get them in early. We have over 600 people in the chat. You got to get them in there early if you want us to be able to get to them. We used to back in the day, we could get to all of them every show, but those days seem to be a little bit long gone for us. Sunny Collectibles said, in your opinion, do you think you have to do YouTube if you're doing full-time? I assume he means full-time reselling.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, some of the best resellers out there, probably most of the best resellers out there, we just don't know them, don't do YouTube. YouTube, any time that I put into my YouTube channel, I'm taking away from selling stuff on eBay, whether it's listing or sourcing or, whatever it is. So YouTube takes away from eBay until you get big time like Kat and Julian and you're making bank on eBay, or on YouTube. Eventually it takes a lot of work, and you can certainly make money off of YouTube. I mean, it's silly to say that you don't. To make money off of YouTube and then potentially make money, viewers buying stuff from your store. It certainly happens. But I mean, if you're looking at the scales, I think strictly doing eBay, most people are going to make more money. That's what I think.
Yeah, I've got several big time resellers in my area. They don't have YouTube channels. You don't need it. I do it mostly because I was not big into doing YouTube. I do it mostly to try, hopefully, to teach, to give some kind of something back. You get older in life, you try to figure out what you want to do, and I'm trying to figure out how I can give back, inspire, do something to help other resellers who are on the fence. Like Troy says, the first question I think we had tonight was, part-time, full-time. There's so many people, Kat said it too, who just don't like their job. So I'm trying to inspire them through YouTube to say, hey, look, this is an avenue you can go to make your life better, especially with inflation now, all that kind of stuff. So no, you don't. Most of the guys who I know who don't do YouTube are probably way better than me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, in my opinion, no, you definitely do not. And to be honest, and like what Troy said, every second that is on YouTube that you're taking the time to do something is that you're just taking away from if you're trying to, be a full-time reseller. Now, I will also caveat that with, do you want to do YouTube? Because if you're full-time, then you're going to go ahead and just do it. Like, act like YouTube is a job also and say, okay, I'm going to put out, now YouTube kind of stinks because you don't get paid for a very long time. So, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put out a video a day or video every other day, and I'm going to do it for 5 years. And I don't think I'm going to get paid for the first 3. But those last 2 might be just crazy. You just don't know. Also, YouTube is, I think, a bigger roller coaster than eBay. I think YouTube is way up and way down. That's been my personal experience with it. So eBay is like one of those things in reselling is that if you're hustling, I've found out that you will make money. You might have a slow week, but it's going to pick up in the next week. YouTube's one of the things. You might put out a video a day and then you hit hard for 3 months and then you fall the next 3 months, but you're doing the same amount of work. So but do what you want. Like if you want to do YouTube and you have your time to do it, act like it's a job though. Act like I got to get the videos out. I have to do this. And even though I don't make money, I'm still going to do it because I want to do it.
You have to want to do it. You really have to want to do it. You definitely take away from the money you're making on eBay. So keep that in mind because you're not getting anything in return for a very long time. And like, yeah, we're making good money, but I agree with Julian. It's like, it's like worse of a roller coaster than eBay. And it's really hard to depend on income from YouTube because it can crash. It can crash and burn, and it might never come back, or it might come back the next week. You don't know. I do it because I love teaching. Like, that is my thing. That's my passion I found through YouTube. I love helping people, and I was just as happy doing it for free as I am doing it getting paid. I just absolutely love doing it. So if you have that urge to teach and, share information, then do it. If you don't, then I would not bother.
I think you're not going to be successful if you don't either. Like on that same, like, I think you have to want to be doing it for the right reason. If you're doing it because I'm doing YouTube because I'm going to make money on YouTube,
it's not going to happen.
You're going to fail. People will know that it doesn't come across as genuine. Your channel's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I am
also
reading this and I'm running. Then you can talk, Mike. But Julian, if I'm not back, grab a question from the bottom.
Sure.
T Yetter wants to know if we have any tips on listing faster. She's saying she's slow compared to us, or he. I don't know if it's he.
Go ahead, Troy.
You're going to get faster over time. I mean, just like anything, the more you do it, the quicker it's going to be. One of the hard things is knowing the shipping setup, right? Like what size box is it going to go in? How much is it going to weigh? That takes a lot of time when you're first starting. I was listing stuff today and I'm like, well, I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but it's more than a pound. It's going to be under 2 pounds. So 2 pounds it is, because that's how, it's going to go either 1 pound or 2 pound. That's the rate. So I set it at 2 pounds and let it go. I think if you batch things, meaning, like today I listed like 14 figurines that are very, very similar. So the lighting setup's the same. The pictures are going to be the same. I'm rotating through. I'm taking the same set of pictures on 14 things. And then when you list, sometimes you can sell similar, change the details, change the photo. So you already have the shell of the listing set up, maybe even the price. So sell similar things at the same time. That's going to help you be faster too, just because you get into a groove. And frankly, I think it helps on eBay because all those are going to come up about the same time. And so if somebody comes into your store and they see one thing, they might see the other thing right next to it that's very similar. And that you might make a couple of sales, or they might go, well, I don't like that one, but I do like this one. So that would be my two things, is just do it, and batch things of similar type together.
Yeah, I think it's harder if you're doing the various things, changing up from different things. That's really tough. Like I like to do, like I am like Julian. I do golf clubs together. I do albums together. I do CDs together. I do that. But again, it's the same thing. I think shipping is huge, especially when you're doing a variety of things, is really knowing your shipping. And knowing your shipping helps there too. So exactly what it costs, what you're going to set it for. And just over time, you will build confidence and you will get faster at it. You can only do so much. You're only going to be able to do so many anyhow. I have a very simple goal of 10 a day. It's nothing. I mean, I sell, if you look at my channel, I averaged 8 items sold a day. So if I can put 8 or 10 in a day, I'm happy. And I do a tremendous volume. So it doesn't take a lot. It takes consistency.
Yeah. And I agree with everything they just said, so I won't repeat that. But I also list solely on my phone. And I think that is going to be one of those arguments. You can do it on your phone. Which one's faster? I can move faster on my phone. I also use, if I'm doing the background deletes, I use Photo Room and I pay for it, but I can batch 50. So I take 50 pictures and they center it, they do it, everything. And I don't have to worry about it. It takes 35 seconds, if that, to delete all the background, center it, and then you're good to go. That to me has changed the way I list, and I list faster that way. I usually sell similar, but what Troy just said is a huge thing, is that if you are listing very similar items, and with golf clubs, I do this a lot. I'll grab a lot of 8 irons or whatever. You have the shell of it. So I'm selling similar on my own item. Just make sure that you're looking and make sure you're changing the correct things, like in specifics. Yep. But that would be your only thing, is just make sure that you're not moving too fast, that you're missing items or missing things. Cause I've done that before and got caught and people return things. So, but yeah, I think the phone is fastest for me, but it might not be faster for you, but find which way you move the fastest and just go with that. But don't try to go so fast where you have a whole bunch of mistakes.
Or do like Kat and just hire people to do it for you.
That would be the fastest way, I think.
Yeah, that's the smart way.
That is the smart way.
Probably the smart way. You know, yeah.
All right, I'm at the bottom. So if people have questions, put them at the bottom because I'm starting with this one. Do you all get embarrassed videoing talking out loud when you're sourcing and others are watching?
Just like
Yeah, I mean I think people. That's what I was saying in the chat. I think you're probably more self-conscious than you need to be. Like most things, generally people aren't looking at you, and if they are, they just think you're the guy that's just talking to yourself. Or you got the Bluetooth in. You know, how many times do you hear somebody talking and realize, oh, they're on the phone? You know, and eventually it just fades. You are very self-conscious initially. It's a weird thing to be talking at a garage sale to the camera, but eventually I guess I'm to the point where I don't really care. And I stick out. I mean, I'm the guy with the beard and a GoPro on his chest. It's not like I'm hiding anyway. I go to garage sales now and people are like, oh, I saw you at the estate sale yesterday. They know that I'm there. They know what I'm doing. So anybody that's normally at garage sales, they're used to me talking to myself anyway.
Now, I don't do a lot of infield. I will be doing some. I just did some in North Carolina. So interesting. I took my GoPro out. I do most of mine from the garage, but it is a little different when you're talking to the washer and dryer, which is right in front of you pretty much. And that's what I'm talking to. I'm standing there going, the washer and dryer are listening to me. And, you know, so it's weird to look at yourself. Yeah, you just get used to it. You know, at first when you hear your voice or you see yourself, like my wife asked me the other day, she goes, do you ever get tired of looking at yourself? I go, yeah, I do. But you know what? It's like, I'm used to it. You know, I'm used to it. So yeah, it's pretty. I think the biggest guy would just, if you want to really feel someone who's comfortable, look at Kevin, Commonwealth Picker. If he can do it, anyone can do it.
He doesn't care, man. He just talks with it.
Are you care? Yeah, Kevin don't care. Are you kidding? He's out there, you know, he's inviting conflict.
He's in the chat if you didn't know.
Oh, is he? Kevin, are you there?
Yeah.
I was supposed to go see
he said
Kevin
he talked to himself at garage sales before he started doing YouTube.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think he did that before. So he was he was already
That's normal. Just what he does.
Yeah. I wish I talked as much because I get it and I don't speak. I want to speak to the camera. Yeah. A lot of times I forget. I'm like, this is nice. In my head, I'm speaking to myself like, you should buy this. But I wish I would verbalize it more on camera. So I wish I talked to myself more. So, but no, I don't really feel it. It was weird in the beginning, but now nobody, and kind of what Troy says, nobody actually cares. Like literally, you can sit there and talk to yourself. Nobody really cares.
Yeah. I don't really do a ton of talking out loud. I've tried, but a lot of the thrift stores have music in them, so I end up doing voiceovers anyways. And I don't do a ton of yard sales. So I do talk when I go to yard sales and estate sales if there's not music. And you get over, I feel like you get over it really fast because, like, that's a job. Like, that's my job. I'm here. I'm doing it. Oh, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Here's the channel. You want to come watch yourself? Yep. Come on. So, you know, I think if you look at it like that, then it's less embarrassing. But you don't have to talk. You could do voiceover. But I think people like that live interaction a little bit better than voiceovers.
Yeah.
Shelly wants to know if there are any Canadian resellers I can bring on. There are things different there. So I will tell you, we actually had, it's been years ago, we did a crossover with all Canadian resellers. And I don't think any of them are making videos anymore that I know. One is Thrift Beast and the other was Jody Mitoma. So if you guys know and watch some Canadian resellers, you're welcome to like email me their names and I'm more than happy to try and get them on. But the ones that I did know from Canada, I do not think are making current videos anymore. And I know it is a lot different and a lot harder there. But if you know some, then tell me, I'd be happy to bring them on. But I don't know anyone anymore.
I mean, I'm in Montana. I'm really close.
Super close.
Yeah.
Their shipping is a beast is what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Like even in like from Canada to Canada, they say it's like super expensive because there's a monopoly on it. I'm not like overly knowledgeable on it, but yeah, so if you guys know some Canadian resellers, definitely throw them my way. I'd be happy to try and get you guys someone on. And Australian. Actually, you know what? Shane Brickbucks, he's Australia. He emailed me and I forgot to email back. I need to do that. Joanne Datul, over on Facebook wants to know, do you do mostly auctions or buy it now?
I think eBay, for most people, you should mostly do buy it now. I mean, for auctions, it has to be, for me, something that is a very low supply and very high demand. It has to be both of those things. If it's a one-off thing and you think, oh, this is rare, I can't find another one, I'm going to put it at auction. There's a good chance that thing's going to sell for your starting bid because it's rare. There's not that many people looking for it. So the one person that finds it is going to get it with the opening bid. There are times when I will run auctions. If I really, truly don't know an item's worth. I sold a pack this week and a hunting pack. The brand sells pretty high, but I couldn't find one that was just like this. I was $5 into it. So I thought, well, let's see. It's bow hunting season in a couple weeks. Let's put it at auction. And I got $43 for it. Could I have listed it at buy it now for 50 or 60 bucks? Probably. But I thought, well, let's just roll the dice and see. And sometimes you win, but more often you're going to get the better price with buy it now.
Yeah, I'm the same. Buy it now. I will auction certain things that I know will garner some attention auction-wise, and then I'll set the price appropriately. Where people, I think, make the mistake on the auction is they think they just started at 99 cents and they're going to get the thing. And how many times you've gone through solds and you see everything's selling for 60 and somebody's lost out on an auction and sold it for $6.99 or $9.99 because there was just no demand and they sniped your item. And I don't even know if these things get shipped or they just eat it or what. I mean, because they set their auction wrong. So that's something you got to watch out for. I'm strictly buy it now.
I'm buy it now also. Mostly I do a lot of auctions when it comes to lots. Like I lot a whole bunch of stuff up and sell it on auction. But what Mike just said was really important. If you're comping something out and you're like, man, look, this thing's going for like $5 or $6, make sure you're seeing if it was just one bid on it, because then you need to start looking a little bit deeper. Like where you just said it was, $6.99, but if you scroll down a little bit, maybe buy it now prices were at 40 or 50 bucks, and somebody just was auctioning this thing off and it wasn't supposed to be at auction. So that was, but the only thing that I've been doing auctions lately is that it's going to be huge lots of items. And then I just auction super cheap, and make sure you cover your shipping though on auctions if you're doing super cheap.
Yeah, I do 99% buy it now. And I think that that's the case. If you see in the comps, a lot are going high on auction of your item, then do auction. Or if it's a really popular brand, like Fenton or a rare vintage t-shirt or, something like that, that's the only cases I would auction. If you're new, I would say I would do almost all buy it now. And if you do an auction, start at the lowest amount you're willing to take.
Unless you know
Shelley,
that it's going to sell. I'm the one that's different on that. If you know, if you have to know that it's going to sell, but I always go back to my Dark Tower game. They sell for $300-400 every single time they show up. They sell for $100 broken. I started mine at 99 cents because I knew there was zero doubt. I actually contacted Kevin, Commonwealth Picker, and a Primetime Treasure Hunter, said, I think I'm going to do this. Am I crazy? And they both said, no, it's going to sell. You don't worry about it. And sometimes that helps because you get a ton of traction on those items. I had like 25 people bidding on that thing because it started so low. Then they get invested. Then that's my thing that you're bidding on. I want that. And that's when you can get the bidding wars. But that's a very select thing. Like you have to make sure you know what you're doing with that item in order to do that.
Or you're going to get it 99 cents for it. Be very careful. Shelley, you're not going to like this. She said, when and where can we get on the inventory packages? So I have a clothing lot up on wholesale. I think Richard's been dropping the link. And then I have 3 earring lots, vintage earring lots left on there right now. And I'm going to have more. I have 4 suitcases. It's like a mini storage locker. I bought 4 suitcases full of new with tag clothes. So I'm going to put them on there too. But they don't ship to Canada. But I will tell you, if you want one of those, you can email me. I will ship international for my viewers. So if you see something on there, just message me and we'll figure something out. But wholesale is Canadians. Wholesale is ran by Canadians. If you didn't see, I did a live on Facebook last night with the co-founder Emma. just answering a bunch of questions about what that's about.
I think I missed this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one. Michelle sent another super chat saying if someone bought her 2 storage units, they would be rich. Well, you're in Australia. We wouldn't be rich if we had to transport it all to the US. So Australia, let the Australia people know. But I wouldn't sell my stuff. Thank you for the super chat. Here's your dollar.
Super chat.
All right. BB wants to know, how do we all store our inventory? And she's saying storage units are way too pricey. She's saying she has to move soon, but she's not sure how she'll be able to take her inventory with her because of storage.
Yeah, I mean, it always depends on your space available, right? Like if there's people that store stuff under the bed and in their bathroom, right? Because they don't, so it really depends. I basically took over our garage. So, and we're in Montana. We don't get to park in the garage in the winter now, but we gave that up for the eBay space because that was the only spot that made sense in the house. I could do it in the spare room, but then somebody visits, where are they going to stay? It's small, so it's in the garage, and I have racks of shelves with totes, with bins, and that's how I do it. But it really depends on your setup.
Yeah. I'm a 2-car garage too. And I've cut a deal basically with my wife. If you walk in my front door, you don't know what I do. It's a home. I think, Julian, that's what you're trying to get to.
Yes.
There is nothing inside unless I'm doing something with books like boxing or something like that. I have a 2-car garage and I make it work. You find a way to make it work. That means you got to sell stuff. You can't, and you've got to buy smart. I think I've always said that. Don't buy just to buy. You got to buy intelligently, smart, to keep your inventory, solid, so you don't end up with, so much stuff that's useless. I've made it my effort this year to make sure that my inventory is as strong as I can. If I don't make as much money, for me, I'm happy. I'm just okay. I'm fine. I will find my stuff. Okay. I will find good stuff throughout the year. So I just do not want to get it so far beyond where it becomes, I need a storage unit. Will never get a storage unit. I'm in California. They're very expensive here. They're $300-$400 a month. I just don't want to deal with that. So try to just make it work with what you got.
Yeah, I have so much that we had to get a storage unit, but how Troy was saying, if I had space at my house, I would have a shed in the backyard. I already purchased one and it'd be a shed back there. We don't have the space. I have a very small yard. I live in a subdivision, HOAs. You're not getting a shed. It's just not going to happen. So that was my only other option, because if I had this stuff all in my house, we took over 2 rooms. It's 3-bedroom. We have 2 rooms right now dedicated to this. I don't like anything in my garage. I'm really odd about that. We have a boat in there. I take my pictures actually in my garage, but other than that, there's nothing in there. I have 1 rack that has some stuff that I'm going to list, but other than that, keeping it separated for me is actually a bigger deal, because if you walk in and it looks like an inventory of an eBay, it's you never leave work. Everything's everywhere. It's always a mess and disheveled, and it's just, so that was the biggest thing for me is I'll pay the money for the storage unit, and I'll be able to make that just by working and listing more, and I can make that, and it's a tax deductible write-off anyway through the business. But I have to get my house back. That's where I was at. I have to be able to not go in the kitchen and see something that's for sale.
Yeah, that was me 2 years ago. I did go the shed route. I don't have 17 acres like Troy said. I only have 11, but that's
I was
still
really
a lot
close.
of acres.
You were close.
Only
Really
11.
close.
But I will tell you, in my 3 sheds, I probably have over 40 to 50,000 for the sheds. So I could buy a lot of storage unit time with $40,000 to $50,000. Because it's the cost of the shed, the cost of the insulation. I also have an increased price in my electric bill has been almost $700 for 3 months now, because my inventory needs to be cooled and have dehumidifiers running, and that increases the cost. So the big thing for me of not getting a storage unit was I don't want to leave my yard. You know, I
Yeah.
want to be able to wake up. I can go out in my pajamas, pull my stuff, pack it, and make my husband go to the post office. But if you don't have a lot, like we did have it all in one bedroom when we first started. So if you have a spare room where you can close that door, I agree with everybody else. Like having your house be your house is like, that was a big relief for me when we moved everything out of the house into the shed, and it wasn't in, you know, like taking up space. But if you don't have the option of a shed, you can't afford the storage, I would get a spare room, you know, if you have a spare room, and I would source small inventory, you know, get jewelry, get handkerchiefs, get hats. I would get, you know, be really smart with your sourcing and what you're selling, and kind of align that with your storage space. So you might have to be a little bit pickier with what you're getting if you're not wanting to get storage. And like, for me, like, oh, it's negative, but honestly, like, and with my sheds, I saved up and bought them with money from the business, you know, so I did do that, paid for them that way, but they're expensive. So it took a lot of work, and I knew I wanted them. Like this one that I'm in now, I got custom built. So I busted my butt to make the money to be able to get the shed. So it can be kind of a motivator too, if you're able to have a shed, or if you want a storage. Some places I know, I was talking to Leroy about it yesterday, Blood, Sweat, Sell. He found a good deal on a warehouse for like under like $500 a month for a warehouse space. So, I mean, you might want to think outside the box too. Some small towns, they're little storefronts. If like the town's dead, you might be able to get a little storefront for cheap. I know, Redneck Resale, when I first started, their store space was only like $300 a month for like this giant store in Alabama. So depending on where you're at, there might be some other options. All right, this is going to be our last question. I did not make it till 8:30, just FYI. So again, if you want your questions answered on Tuesday night, please ask them early. Thrifting's my hobby, Sue. She forgot to ask with the super chat earlier, what's the best way to start a 10-day auction, or best day? Sorry, best day. So if you're doing a 10-day auction, what day would you start it?
Thursday night. That's, you know, for the stuff that I want to get more eyeballs on, that I really think is going to do well, you do it Thursday night, because initially it goes through the weekend when you're going to have more eyes trolling through eBay. And then it's going to end on the weekend on Sunday night, when historically I think you have more eyes on eBay. So I do it Thursday night at, I can't remember, usually it's around that 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Just that way it ends on Sunday night.
Yep. Same thing. And then the 7-day, you just adjust for the same kind of thing. You want it to end on basically on a Sunday or even a Saturday, whatever you want, but it's basically Sunday. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that would be the best practice. Do I do that? Not all the time.
I don't either. Yeah.
But that I would agree that is the best.
That's
practice.
how I do it when I do it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah. So the ultimate day, I agree with Troy. The ultimate day is Thursday night. But I will also, like, if I know I have stuff I want to do auction, I might set it to a 7-day if I'm listing on a Sunday, or I'll even do a 5-day sometimes if it'll end on a Saturday or Sunday. So if I want to list it now, I have the pictures. Sometimes I'll lower it down, but I think ultimate is Saturday and Sunday nights is your best ending time. All right. I'm going to let these guys tell you bye. Next week, I'm excited about next week. These two ladies have been on, but they have not been on in a long time. So tonight I'm surrounded by guys. Next week, Julian is going to be surrounded by women. We will have Becky Park on Poshmark, as well as Jess on. Awesome. They haven't been on in over a year. So I'm like super excited to have these ladies back on. So the tables are going to be turned on Julian next week.
That's okay.
So, all right. Thank you all for coming. Again, we did have over 600 in the chat. I appreciate you guys watching. We are here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'm going to let these gentlemen tell you bye, and if they have any videos coming up, and then we will let you go. Here's Troy.
Yeah, I mean, I always have videos coming up. You know, so I will have videos coming up the rest of the week. Probably some garage sales, some what's sold. We'll talk about that scammer thing. And we're selling ducks. I'm going to use the space. I'm going to just hawk some, I guess it's merchandise, kind of. We're selling these little rubber ducks because I pulled in a bunch of rubber ducks and then people started buying them. And so I thought, let's do this thing. So we started selling rubber ducks. They're all kinds of different looks and styles. $4.99 plus shipping, and 10% goes to a foundation that helps wounded veterans. It's the Gary Sinise Foundation. So if you're interested in having a little random duck, you got to get your ducks in a row. You might have the Animan to get things moving.
Not your Animan?
Yeah, if you got the Animan to get things moving, you got to have ducks because you got to get your ducks in a row before fourth quarter. So there we go. I got to hawk my stuff. But yeah, videos coming up. It'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect. Here's Mike.
All right, everybody. Hey, I'm away for a little while. I'll be busy, but I will still post videos. I've got them coming out. I do about 2 a week. I don't do too many, but anyhow, thanks for watching. I hope you learned from us. That's the key here, is hope everybody is learning something. And thanks for watching.
Perfect. Again, Troy and Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. Julian, glad you're back, my friend. Thank you guys for sticking it out with me, having to run away a couple times. I appreciate it. So we will see you guys next week with Gorgeous and Becky Park on Poshmark, which will get a little bit of different views there. Those two ladies primarily are clothing and Poshmark sellers. So if that's something you're thinking about, next week could be the time to come. We will see you guys next week. Bye for now.